Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. So many groups are overly interested in the case of Nnamdi kanu, especially the fact that it is in court right now. If you watched some of the videos that played out on, they said there, the 10th of November, when he went to court, there was one or two distractions amidst his legal team. We saw arguments at the entry point. Some people, when they came and made it known that it's just 6 people they needed, some people were not happy. They were angry that this other person was taken. I was not taken. Were you there at the start of, the trial? Why do you want to force yourself in and all of that? That kind of thing happened, and for many people it was a huge distraction and something that can be capitalized on. So a renowned group has decided to speak to the legal team. You hear the advice they have to give to them. But before we give you full details of it, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you get notification anytime we publish our video. The International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law has advised the lawyers of the detained leader of the self-determination movement in eastern Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu, to shun divisiveness and avoid being distracted by enemies and government malls. This was contained in a statement signed by the chairman of the board, Inter-Society, Emeka Umeagbalasi, and the head of publicity, Chidinma Udebunam. The group said the advice became necessary following the raging discordant sounds among some of the detained leaders' defense team and strong attempt by suspected agents and more of the Nigerian government and other enemies to further divide and distract them. The statement read in part, our attention was particularly drawn to a recent publication titled Nnamdi Kanu's Trial, a better understanding of what happened yesterday in court, and series of counter-replies and reactions that followed, and dotted with uncoached and unloyally or unprofessional wordings. While there is nothing morally or legally wrong in someone, especially if he or she was given a written account of what happened in court session, he or she attended physically, it is morally damning for another to dive into legal issues he or she was not part of, either as a counsel or as an accredited media correspondent covering the court session. Ordinarily, false reportage of what transpired in court sitting is clearly an act of committing contempt of court. Therefore, seriously frowned at in the article was its paragraph 5, part A, where the writer unprofessionally and uncondemnably digress and dive into personal enmity or settlement of personal scores, thereby exposing his or her bias and grudges and robbing the article of its expected neutrality, credibility, and professionalism. It was totally wrong for the article to usurp and threaten the right of the detained leader to choose who is who and who represents among his lawyers, including who is a member of his defense team and who among them is the lead counsel. According to the group, such an unprofessional attitude is not only capable of playing into the hostile hands of the prosecuting Nigerian government, but also putting the defense team in total disarray, quackery, and gravely jeopardizing their legal services and representation duties. It said such would create room for the Nigerian government to have its way aimed at convicting the detained leader and his international body corporate at all costs or by and means crookedly necessary. I'll take that again. It said such would create room for the Nigerian government to have its way aimed at convicting the detained leader and his international body corporate at all costs or by any means crookedly necessary. The statement further reads, this, if allowed, can bring about the continued endangerment and criminalization of the globally recognized and legally backed agitation for self-determination, especially under UN and AU system. The lawyer of the detained leader must therefore remain focused and professional and refuse to be divided and distracted by the hostile state actors and hired or uncomfortable orders. Yeah. And this statement or this advice given by this group, I think it's quite timely, considering what we saw in some of the videos, that were posted online, especially during the entry session of some selected lawyers to represent Nnamdi kanu. At the point, there were some reactions, some anger, tantrum throwing at others. At the point, someone was shouting, "What do you know about this case?" and all of that. Now you want to be a part of the team. There were a lot of argument here and there, and that is that can go an extra mile to distract the purpose of getting victory at the end of the day. And not just that alone, it can also give whoever that wants to take advantage of such opportunity to liaise with the person who is exchanging words, convince them, and possibly get to know more about what is happening in the legal team, and that may kind of disrupt or kind of play down on the importance of the team and may end up leaking some of the secrets. Because at the point, if you're not allowed to continually be a part of the Nnamdi kanu legal team, at the point, some people wouldn't mind going the extra mile to ensure that failure is gotten because I'm not part of the team. How can they, let me go? So I think at this point, the lead person, talking about Ifeanyi Ejiofor, and another lawyer, Ijimako, and also Bruce Finn, they should come to a compromise and seek the legal representation of Nnamdi kanu and talk to them. That's what the society is trying to, preempt. That's what they want them to do. They sit them down and talk to them and let them understand that the most important thing for now is how they can come out victorious at the end of the day, not to see themselves arguing among themselves, which may, go extra mile to tear down the importance of the group. Whether you are in the court or you're not in the court, it doesn't really matter. What is sacrosanct is victory at the end of the day, and everybody will celebrate. But when you begin to show those who are prosecuting you some loopholes that can be taken advantage of and that can also help in disarming the legal team, then be rest assured that they will move in with all that they've got. After all, representation in court is like a game, this one versus this one. So anybody that can be used to break into the secret of this other legal representation or the representative, why not? We give you some good monies and buy your loyalty, and you feed us with all that is necessary to ensure that we nail this person. And that's just it. At the end of the day, I win and I go my way. So the group is trying to say, hey, you guys need to put aside all this distraction. It's overly not important. It's not necessary. And to some extent, people should forget about whether they are the ones that are going in there to physically listen to the hearing or not. They should just ensure that they work as a team and come out smoking at the end of the day. For me, what the entire society is talking about is quite a good advice, which is needful, especially now that the case is getting intense. We'd like to leave it there. What do you think about advice? Do you think it's timely, or it's a way of making public the fact that there is a disagreement between the legal team of